Hello and welcome back to the GB Fantasy Football channel. In today's video, it's going to be the ultimate guide to all 20 Premier League teams. We're going to cover the potential starting 11 for the opening day and for the games going forward. Who's on set pieces, who are the star men, all the important information needed for those much important drafts to build. Now, thank you very much for the support on the channel. We are trying to push towards 1,000 subscribers before the start of the season, so every little bit helps. I'd be greatly appreciated if you could smash the subscriber button, drop a thumbs up on the video, it pushes it out to everybody who wants to watch the content and just the people who are getting into the game, the existing players. It's just getting the stuff out there is just really, really nice. Don't forget to hit the bell notification as well so you don't miss an upload. Without further ado, let's crack on with the video. As mentioned in the introduction, today we are covering all 20 Premier League teams, from existing teams all the way to promoted teams from last season. This is the important information that we need. We need to know who the set piece takers are, who the star assets are, where those goal contributions and potential bonus points will be coming from. Now, the code for my league is just under the camera once again for my Sun Dream Team League. It's in the description as well if you miss it at the start of the video, so do go join. Plenty of you over there. Honestly, so many more than I actually thought would join, so thank you very much for that. Be interesting bragging rights throughout the season, no doubt. But the first team that we have up is my own team. It is Arsenal. Opening up with Man United away in the first fixture. We've got the statistics on the screen, the set pieces, all that. We'll get to it in a minute. In my opinion, this will be the starting 11 in the opening fixture. Raya in goal, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel. I do think he will be fit enough to start that fixture. Calafiori, spoke about in a previous video. I actually think he is Arteta's favourite choice at left back. Fitness permitted, he's not been available for too many games. So it's been Lewis Skelly or Zinchenko if we're really short. But to me, Calafiori is the opening and best option that we have. Midfield three speaks for itself. Zubamendi, Declan Rice, Martin Odegaard, and a front three of Saka, Gyökeres, and unfortunately still Martinelli. Now, if the news coming out tonight is to be believed, it seems that once Arsenal shift on a player or two, maybe Leandro Trossard or Fabio Vieira, it seems Eze, and there's a few people confident on this, will be an Arsenal player before the end of the window. And that is where I'd expect him to play if that is the case. But for now, that is all that they've got. Star asset, Bukayo Saka, star boy as it was for Arsenal. If you're seeing attacking returns from them, it's normally coming through Bukayo Saka. Details on penalties. Odegaard, of course, also has penalties, and I'd say Gyökeres is now in that three for potentially taking one. Saka likes to share him out. He's not someone who's going to go full on and just keep them all to himself. And obviously on corners, we've got Martin Odegaard, but the main two are Bukayo Saka and Declan Rice from either side. Great point potential, especially Declan Rice last season, just aiming it towards Gabriel consistently. But that is my Arsenal guide for this one. Next up, we've got Aston Villa, and the team on the screen is what I believe will be in the opening fixture. Tricky one, but you got Bizzo in goal, a new signing for them. Of course, Martinez is banned for that first game after being sent off away to Man United on the last game of last season. Back four, I've gone for Digne. I've gone for Mings over Pau Torres. I think currently Torres is always picking up niggles. Mings seems to be the more stable asset. Concert and Cash making up the back four. Your five-man midfield, I've gone for Ramsey on the left. Tielemans and Kamara in midfield with Marlon on the right. Yes, I know they've just signed a new winger, but I actually think Marlon's pre-season form has actually earned him the right to play in that opening fixture. I've gone for Morgan Rogers in this team. Yes, he's got an injury, but it looks like he might be able to make it for the opening game, which would be a massive bonus for Aston Villa in the way that they play. With the man of the moment up front, Ollie Watkins, now he's scored countless goals in pre-season. Yes, the opposition hasn't been the highest of quality, but that's what you want from a centre forward going into a new campaign. He's hitting the back of the net. He's clearly in form. And it could potentially be on penalties as well. I've gone for Watkins and Tielemans as the penalty takers. Whether you want Watkins to actually take your penalties or not is a different matter. His conversion rate is pretty poor. Corner wise, you've got players like McGinn, Bailey, and Digne if they're on the pitch. But to me, the star asset in this team is Morgan Rogers. I think a lot of Premier League teams would snap their hand off just for the chance to sign him and put him in there. Work rate, talent, he is the complete package. Following Villa, we do indeed have Bournemouth. Now, a much changed team this season compared to the last campaign. The entire back four, bar the right back, has been ravaged. Goalkeeper's also gone to Arsenal after his loan spell finished here. They've done well recruiting. Traffair at left back looks like he could provide a lot of attacking talent going forward. Will he fill the shoes that Kirkes has left? I'm not too sure. The centre back position is currently empty. Hill, I believe. He wasn't actually on the graphics available to make this, but Hill is the name that I believe. Senesi, Smith, and Petrovic making the back four and the goalkeeper. Your five-man midfield is Tyler Adams, Scott, Clivert, who's currently nursing an injury, so he is a doubt. I think Tavernier will play on the left, which price-wise might be one to look out for. Semenyo on the right and Evan Nielsen up front. Now, I do think Evan Nielsen will be on penalties if Clivert isn't playing this fixture, which is another string to his bow. And to me, the star asset in the Bournemouth team is Semenyo. I think in another sort of window where wingers haven't been going from one team to another, you have Madueke, you have Elanga going for 50 million each. I think Semenyo would have actually got a move to a bigger club. No disrespect to Bournemouth, but with the ground size that they are and the players that they bring through, it seems like they're more than capable and more than willing to buy a player, sell him on, take the profit, and go again, similar to the Brighton model. Bournemouth going forward, I actually can see them scoring away to Liverpool on the opening fixture. Liverpool look quite poor defensively against Palace in the Community Shield, so this is one to look out for. For Brentford, it's been much changed this summer. Obviously, a lot of the attacking talent is seemingly gone. Johan Visser has one foot out the door. Brian Mbeumo has long since gone to Manchester United, so it's a bit of a rebuild up front. Back four, they brought in a cracking goalkeeper in Kelleher from Liverpool. Bit of a doubt going into the first game of the season, but I see him being fit in time. We've got Rico Henry, Vandenberg, Collins, the new captain of the club, and Coyote, a little bit of a live wire at right back, getting forward, up and down, offering attacking and defensive threat. A midfield three of Jensen and Yarmouk, with Damsgaard playing that number 10 role, and Lewis Potter out wide, potentially as a winger. Now, for another fancy game in FPL, he's actually categorised as a defender. Unfortunately, in Sun Dream Team, he is a midfielder. We've got Carvalho at right wing, formerly of Liverpool. It seems like he's had a decent pre-season with Thiago up front, the man who was initially brought to replace Ivan Toney a year ago before his bad injury. But it seems like he's going to hit the ground running this season. A couple of goals in pre-season. Form seems to be there. A lot of unknown with Brentford. Personally, I feel like their star player is actually Damsgaard. I think a lot of us will know him from his Denmark days. But he's slotted into this Brentford team really well. I think Thiago's taking the penalties in pre-season, so that's one to watch. But Damsgaard and Lewis Potter are on these set pieces, corner-wise. Free kick-wise, I think it's also Damsgaard. So there's a lot of point potential in this Brentford team if they start quick. If not, could be a bit of a slog to get rid of them. Brighton once again showing what sort of a quality team they are. A few sales out the door this summer, but more importantly, it seems like they've kept the most of the team together. This graphic, though, unfortunately, is a bit dated. By the time I've actually done this video, it seems like their number 10 might be on his way to Juventus, so that's one to look out for. Back four and goalkeeper. Verbruggen in goal, solid asset. It seems he is actually back from injury. He played in the last pre-season game, so he looked fresh to go. You got Max Vifa at right back, Duncan Van Heck at centre half, with their brand new signing De Kuiper at left back. Now, I know he's in quite a few people's teams, rightly so. Offers a bit of attacking threat, but it depends where to be seen in that actual attacking phase of play he will end up. Will he end up as more of a left centre half or bombing down the line? A lot of unknowns, but a decent price going forward. Midfield two of Baleba and Ayari. Baleba, if Man United get him, fantastic signing. It's going to cost a lot of money to get him out of Brighton, but one to watch this season. O'Reilly is the player in question. I believe Juventus are heavily linked with him. If he doesn't play, it seems like they'll just slot another number 10 in there. Maybe drop Rutter back if Welbeck is fit. play Welbeck up front, but it actually seems like Welbeck has been playing with the second team in a lot of the pre-season games. So judging from that, I think Rutter might be on penalties going forward, so one to watch on that front. And of course, flying wingers, Matoma and Minte. Minte doing really, really well in pre-season. You've got Danny Welbeck, O'Reilly, just a few assets who would normally take the set pieces. I think Matoma might end up taking a few if he is one of the ones that stays behind. To me, star asset in this team, Minte. I don't think Newcastle would have sold him if they had the choice. Baleba, yes, he offers a lot in midfield, but Minte, very explosive and on his day, very tough to handle. Now, I won't lie, there are a few teams in this list today that it took a little bit more researching than others. It seems like Burnley, as well as the other promoted teams, of course, there's a lot of change when you're going from one division to the next. But Burnley are no different to normal. It seems they will be going with a back five in the opening fixtures, which I didn't actually think they would. I thought they'd stick with a four, but it seems like the players that they've sold at the back, i.e., James Trafford, for argument's sake, have really weakened them. So they've had to go to a back five just to stem the flow. Dubravka in goal, solid asset, recently purchased from Newcastle, very cheap on Sundry Team and FPL. Back three, Esteve, Humphries and Kyle Walker. Of course, Kyle Walker played that right centre half in the back three role for many a year with England, so a little bit less pace than yesteryear, but plenty of experience. And if you could bring a little bit of Premier League know-how into that team, it'd be well worthwhile. I've gone for Connor Roberts as your right wing back. It seems he's got over his fitness issues and will play that role. And the new signing of Son at left wing back. Two in midfield, Cullen and Ugachukwu from Chelsea. Brand new signing. I think he will slot in straight away and show a little bit of what Burnley needed, a little bit of quality. With Fleming, Jaden Anthony and Marcus Edwards up front. Once again, didn't know too much about these as a team. I knew Marcus Edwards from Sporting Lisbon when I think they knocked Arsenal out a few years ago, an ex-Tottenham Academy graduate. Looked really lively, and I actually thought he would go to a team a little bit higher up in the rankings and leaderboards than Burnley. But it looks like they're set up to be solid rather than goal scoring. I wouldn't be expecting too much. The penalties was Brune Larson and Barnes last season, so I'm not sure who will be taking them this campaign. Perhaps hazard a guess. You stick it on your number 9, you stick it on Fleming, but that is still yet to be seen. Corners last year, Jaden Anthony and Fleming took on from both sides, so they will be offering that kind of set piece threat. To me, looking at that team, your star asset and your star player is Kyle Walker. All that know-how and experience, it's a real coup for Burnley to get him into the team. Yes, he's not what he once was, but he will offer so much to that Burnley side. Next up, we have the champions of the world, or the champions of the pre-season tournament friendly extraordinaire extravaganza, whatever you want to call it. Chelsea, unfortunately, they picked up a huge injury at the back already. Levi Colwill rupturing his cruciate in the very first training session after coming back from the extended season that they had last year was very unfortunate. So I've gone for Sanchez in goal. A back four of Reece James, not Malo Gusto. I actually think Reece James is the starting right back. He played there in the pre-season game, and I think it's his position to lose if he doesn't get injured. Big if. Centre halves have gone for Chalobah and Adebayo in the absence of Colwell, with of course Cucurella at left back. Now I think Jurel Hato could play in that centre back role, but currently I've gone for Adebayo. Midfield three, Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo and Palmer speak for themselves. The only one that you could potentially chuck in there for argument's sake is Lavia, but on paper that is their best midfield three. And a new front three going forward. João Pedro started incredibly well for Chelsea. I think he scored in every game he's played. So exceeded expectations, certainly from another fan's point of view. I'm not sure what you Chelsea fans thought when you brought him through the door from Brighton, but I think he's hit the ground running massively. You've got Pedro Neto out on the right and the brand new signing of Jeremy Bino Gittins. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one. He's looked lively in pre-season. Will he play every game? They've got plenty of options out wide. João Pedro could shift to the left. Of course, Palmer could go on the right. Neto on the left. They've got wingers galore. Of course, penalty taker, Cole Palmer. Star player, Cole Palmer. Free kicks wise, you've probably got players like Enzo Fernandez. Cole Palmer will take them. You might see Reece James chip in with a goal like he did in the Club World Cup. Chelsea, I'll be intrigued to see how their team holds up with a lack of pre-season. They reckon a bit of fatigue will hit this team at some point. Will it be straight away? I doubt it. They've got favourable fixtures, and Chelsea are certainly a team to target. Fresh off the back of their Community Shield win, Palace seem like they're carrying over the form from the back end of last season. Unfortunately, they are in the Conference League this year, not the Europa League. Their appeal failed, and that is just it done and dusted now. So we know what competition they will be in going forward. I've gone for Sanchez in goal, apparently. Who knew he played for Palace? Of course, that will be Dean Henderson in net. A back three of Gay, Lacroix, and I think it's Richards of the United States, maybe, possibly. It's certainly Richards at right centre half. Two wing backs, Mitchell and Munoz. Now they have signed Borna Sosa as a left wing back, so that's one to look out for, potentially taking minutes off Mitchell. I've gone for the two in midfield of Kamada and Wharton. I don't think Will Hughes edges out Kamada at the minute. I think that extra mobility in midfield and extra just mobility edges him just a smidge. And of course, the front three speak for themselves. Eze, Mateta, Sarr, clinical, attacking wise, they offer so much threat. A lot hinges on if Eze stays at Palace. Now, there was a photo going around yesterday of him lifting the Community Shield, and I don't know whether it was by chance or not, but the entire team was there and Eze was not. So I'm not sure what that was about. Potentially going to Arsenal. I'd love him at Arsenal. I really, really would love him at Arsenal. Not because what he did for me in Sunderland team last season, but because he's just a quality player. He enables teams to break down low blocks. He's just free flowing and he's a joy to watch. I think him and Mateta will be on penalty duty this season. You've got Eze and Kamada on corners more than likely. Munoz offering an incredible attacking threat. And of course, the star asset in this Palace team is Eze himself. The diamond in the crown. If Palace didn't have such poor fixtures at the start, I think their assets would be a lot higher owned. This Everton team has, of course, potentially got a brand new crowning player, attacking threat, and that is in the case of Jack Grealish, but we'll get to him in just a minute. I've gone for Pickford in goal, a back four, despite it saying Mikalenko at left back, of O'Brien, Tarkowski, Branthwaite, and Asnu. I will pick in this one, not Mikalenko. If he's fit, Mikalenko plays, but currently that knock is looking like he's not quite going to run it off or be able to carry it away before the start of the season away to Leeds. So I'll actually go for Asnu. He's not on this at the minute, but £2.5 million asset for Everton offers a cheap route into that defence, even cheaper than O'Brien at right back. So one to look out for. I've gone for a midfield four of Ndai, Garner, Gay, and McNeil. I've got McNeil on the right currently as things stand. It could be Alcaraz or it could be Dewsbury Hall. I've got Dewsbury Hall in that number 10 role. I think if Jack Grealish signs, Ndai will go on the right, Grealish will go on the left, and Dewsbury Hall will stay in that number 10 role. Of course, all things can change on that front, but that is how I would line them up. With Barry up top, I think Beto has been done and dusted. I think David Moyes sees him as a unreliable asset, and Barry is the one that they've put the money in this summer, and I do feel like they're going to give him a run up front. Star player in that team, Iliman Ndiaye, by far. It will be Jack Grealish if he turns up. Well, it depends what sort of fantasy game you're on about. If it's FPL, to me, the diamond in the rough is Tarkowski for everything that he brings in defence on that one. But we're talking about Sunderland team today, and I'll go for Iliman Ndiaye. Penalty-wise, Ndiaye, once again, takes the mount and goes forward on that front. I also think corners, Alcaraz would be on them, and Garner. Everton, decent run of fixtures at the start. I think they've got Leeds, maybe Wolves, and a home fixture not in between with the Carabao Cup one. So their assets could offer good value for money. Next up, we have Fulham. And of course, right wing, we have the pre-season Messi himself, Harry Wilson. Going from back to front, we've got Leno in goal. Kenny Tete, they fought off some advances from Everton for his signature in the summer. He signed back on with Fulham, and I think he will get the right back role going forward. Got Cuenca at centre half with Anderson, Anthony Robinson at left back. Five in midfield, Sander Berge, Lukic. That King is meant to be Josh King once again. He's just a placeholder of a name, not the face, not the player. Josh King, good asset, very talented youngster. It seems like this season will be his breakthrough season, and he will be the number 10 going forward, not Smith Rowe. So that just goes to show the level of talent that he does have. Iwobi on the left, Wilson on the right, with Jimenez up front. It seems to me like Jimenez will take the penalties. Free kicks wise and corner wise, you've got Pereira if he's on the pitch, Carney, but Wilson and Jimenez will take them as well. Wilson's your playmaker. He is, to me, the best player in this team. He is their star man at the minute. Of course, that's a bit reactionary because of pre-season. I'd actually say their star man overall would be Anthony Robinson. Last season, incredible campaign. Will he show it again? It's one to be seen. But Fulham, neither here nor there currently with regards to my thoughts and getting a player into my draft, but one to watch maybe in the future. Another newly promoted side in Leeds. A lot of changes in this team, few signings along the way, and unfortunately a player who I thought was going to play, it seems like he's not actually going to. So in goal, Perry, brand new signing, looked like he might not be fit for the start of the season, with Darla maybe having to deputise, but it looks like he will indeed be fit. Bogle at right back, major doubt. He's one of their star players up from the Championship last season, but will he be fit or not? It's not looking likely. Rodon and Struijk at the back, decent. Goodmanson, brand new signing at left back. Your midfield three, Stack, Ampadu and Tanaka. No Longstaff currently. Now I think he's creeping up to about 3-4% budget enabler wise. It was in one of my early drafts. I actually thought moving from Newcastle to Leeds, he would be guaranteed more playing minutes in that midfield. But Stack looked like he was offering a lot in the pre-season game just gone. A lot of ball recoveries, potential for high bonus points. Not too adventurous going forward, but certainly wouldn't shy away from a shot or two. Then up front, you've got Dan James, Willie Gnonto, and Pirro up front. Now, a lot of talk about Leeds getting a new centre forward, but it seems like Pirro will start the season. He will be on penalties as well, so for that cheap price of I think it was between 2.5 and 3.5 million, might be worth a punt. Dan James, fit again. Is he their star player in this team? I'd go Tanaka as their star player. One of the standout performers in the Championship last season, really showed his worth as a holding midfielder. Seems like he'll play a slightly more advanced role in this team now with Ampadu playing the holding position. To me, this Leeds team, you could pick up a few budget enablers. They might score you a few goals, but long term, you probably want to be moving them on. Corner wise, you're looking at Pirro, Grueff if he's on the pitch, and Harrison also if he's knocking about. But it's spread across the board. I need to see this Leeds team in motion first, and maybe their assets might be worth more while. English is difficult. We have the Premier League champions on this one. Unfortunately, they lost the Community Shield to a very decent Palace team, conceding twice, which I don't think they'd be too happy about going forward. Last season, they kept 3 clean sheets out the first 4 games. Would I expect them to do that again this season? No. I feel like they're not as strong at the back currently. The second goal for Palace yesterday showed that quite considerably. Van Dijk stepped out. The back 4 line wasn't straight. And that is years of having Robertson and Trent either side of them, just clicking like clockwork. At the minute, they have new defenders in there, and it's not quite the same. I've gone for Alisson in goal. Back 4 of Kirkes, Van Dijk, Konate and Frimpong. Connor Bradley currently carrying a knock, so Frimpong gets the nod. The 3 in midfield, of course, Gravenberch can't play the opening game. He got sent off at home to Palace in the first game last season. So I'd expect the midfield 3 for the opening fixture to be McAllister, Szoboszlai and Wirtz. So a slight change to this graphic, but this is what I expect long term for Liverpool. And Gakpo, Ekitike currently, without Isak going forward, and Salah on the right. Of course, penalties, Mohamed Salah, despite missing the last 2 and his Community Shield penalty probably still landing and coming out of the sky, it was an absolute shocker. But I still suspect he is on penalties going forward. Free kick wise, you'd say McAllister, you'd say Wirtz, you'd say even Van Dijk if he's feeling a little bit lucky from range. Corner wise, McAllister's on him sometimes. Of course, Trent would have taken these over yesteryear. I think Florian Wirtz will take up a lot of the set pieces this campaign. He looked pretty decent for Germany in the Euros that have just gone. And of course, the star man in this Liverpool team is Mohamed Salah. A few of you will go without him. I've seen a few drafts recently that Salah's been dropped out of to spread the funds around. Scary times if that is the case. He will be one of the highest candidates for captaincy in the opening game. So that's one to watch out for. But Liverpool, you can expect a lot of points this season. Quickly moving over to the blue side of Manchester. As you can see, their team lineup on the screen. I've gone for Edison in goal, which is a rogue shout at best at the minute. They've been heavily linked with Donnarumma from PSG, and of course, they've already signed James Trafford. Back four, I've gone for Nunez. I've gone for Diaz, Akanji, and their new signing, Ryan Aït-Nouri from Wolves. Great asset last year. I'll be intrigued to see how he slips into that Pep Guardiola system over at Manchester City. Can he replicate the same numbers that he played as a wing back in that Wolves system? And Nunez on the other side, of course, converted from a midfielder into a fullback. Does indeed look like he will be the starting right back for Manchester City in the 25-26 season, so it's one to look out for. I've gone for a midfield three that consists of Nico Gonzalez, an interesting one at times, but with Rodri's injury, I think he will play. I've got Tijani Reinders, scored 2 in the last pre-season game and one to watch out for. And I've also gone for Ilkay Gundogan, a little bit of that Pep experience in midfield. I think they're called unks. Those City players who Pep has a lot of trust in, and he is one of them indeed. Offers a little bit of balance that midfield. It looks like they might be looking to get a couple of attackers through the door, but it's currently that's the midfield three I'd go for. And then up front we've got Erling Haaland, of course. He's going to play despite any fitness issues or short pre-season. Haaland will start that opening game. I've then gone for Marmoush on the left. An interesting one. Normally you'd expect him to play in a number 10 role. Maybe he could play where Gundogan is. Perhaps a different option out at left wing, so that's one to watch. And over on the right, I've gone for Bernardo Silva, another one of those tried and trusted assets. I think with Grealish out the door, it looks like Savinho is going to go to Tottenham, perhaps. Will they get Eze and Savinho through the door over there at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium? It's one to watch out for. Penalty-wise, I've gone for Erling Haaland and Marmoush. Of course, Marmoush missed the penalty in the cup final against Crystal Palace, so will he take them off Haaland? I think at the start of the season, Haaland will keep the penalties going forward. They might share occasionally, and obviously set pieces and all that get shared around at Manchester City. One game you could have Bernardo Silva taking them from one side. The other game you could have Marmoush taking free kicks from 20 odd yards out. Of course, we know Kevin De Bruyne this season, unfortunately, he's obviously gone to Napoli. A lot of the set piece information is still yet to be found out, especially with no pre-season for Man City. But from the past campaigns, we can assume that left footer on the right, right footer on the left, a couple of in-swinging corners for good measure, aim for the target men. But it is definitely one to watch out for with Manchester City. The other half of Manchester is, of course, up next. We're going from the blue side to the red side. A lot of change in a certain half of the pitch for Man United this season, with a lot of familiar faces in the other half. So we'll go through the team. I've gone for Bayindir in goal. It looks like Onana's muscular injury might be a little bit worse than first thought. Also, they've been trying to replace him. Donnarumma is one to look out for. He's been shifted out of that PSG team. He's no longer wanted. And with Chelsea and Man United in the market for a goalkeeper, I think if they can get the funds together, it'd be a fantastic signing for them. And it would actually push them onto that next level of rebuild. Back three, I originally thought Heaven would play left centre half in that back three. I think it's a toss of a coin between him and Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw fitness wise is poor. Will he play all the minutes? I doubt it, but currently I go Shaw over Heaven. De Ligt in the middle, No Maguire and Lenny Yoro at right centre half. Two wing backs have gone for Dorgu and Diallo. In the opening fixture, I've got a sneaky feeling Dallo will play right wing back with Diallo on the bench, but the majority of the games that will be the wing back system he seems to favour. I've gone for Ugarte and Bruno Fernandes as the midfield two. You could go for Casemiro in here. You've got Ugarte, you've got Bruno Fernandes, you've got Kobe Manu. You've got four options at least that I can think of off the top of my head. I think Tony Collier maybe, if he's still knocking around the club. But to me, they are the best two that they've got. They still need another one. There's a reason why Baleba is being heavily linked. He'd offer legs in midfield, he'd offer passing ability, just ability in general, which a player like Ugarte doesn't offer. And up front, you've got the brand new Power Rangers of sorts, the Holy Trinity of Old Trafford. Mateus Cunha, Brian Mbeumo, and Benjamin Sesko. Now, Mbeumo and Cunha have, of course, already made their debuts. Sesko still yet to grace the pitch with them two either side. I actually think Rasmus Højlund could play this game, or that he might go for a Bruno Fernandes up front against Arsenal with maybe a Casemiro Ugarte pivot in midfield. I don't think Sesko will start that game, unfortunately, for those of you who are going for him. I think they'll score lots of points this season. Cunha and Mbeumo, brilliant point scorers last season for Wolves and Brentford, respectively. Penalties are taken off them now. They won't be the star in their team. Of course, that is Bruno Fernandes in this Manchester United team. And also, them two assets will no longer have penalties, which is a massive downside to them. Mbeumo for, I think, he's 5.5 million with no penalties. Really highly priced. Bruno Fernandes will be on penalties, he'll be on corners. His defensive returns, his interceptions, all that are really high when he plays in a deeper role. So even though he's not in that final attacking third all the time, there's still plenty of avenues for points. Of course, he's on all kinds of things, and he is the main man that everything goes through. It'll be an intriguing start for United. Of course, Arsenal at home in the first game. Tricky start, but plenty of points to be had. We've got the Geordie boys from up north next. They've not had a transfer window that they'd be proud of, let's just say that. They've got Anthony Elanga through the door, but unfortunately for them, it seems like Isak will leave. If he's not leaving, he's certainly not playing the first or the second game, potentially even the third of the transfer window. That's one that could drag out till deadline day. I've gone for Ramsdale in goal over Pope. Now, I feel like Ramsdale wouldn't have gone there without some sort of promise for minutes. Pope always looks shaky. I think Ramsdale's got that mentality that you need to play in front of that St James's Park crowd. It can be boisterous, it can be raucous. And I think Ramsdale thrives upon that. Sometimes there's a mistake in him, a bit too overconfident, but I feel like Ramsdale will fit this Newcastle team quite well. Back four, Livramento, Burn, Shaw, and Hall. Hall's the one who's struggling the most for fitness. He's still coming back from his injury last season, but I think he will play. The midfield three speaks for itself without Joe Willock, who's currently injured, Joelinton, Tonali, Guimaraes. Of course, all these are in the Champions League this year. Guimaraes in previous campaigns, incredible point scorer because he's getting the double fixtures. And I'll be intrigued to see how Tonali translates to that same thing as well. And the front three without Isak currently, Harvey Barnes on the left, Anthony Gordon up front, and Elanga on the right is what I think they will do. Of course, you've got Jacob Murphy to throw into that equation as well. But with what they've got, and I think it's Asulu or something like that, who's pretty poor. He's very raw, he's very young, still got a lot to learn. I feel like with this front three, plenty of pace. You do not want to be playing on the halfway line against that front three because I don't think there's a faster front three in the entire league. Harvey Barnes normally plays well. I'd expect him to play on the left, as I said, with Gordon up front, which could be an out of position player. So I'll be intrigued to see if Newcastle do actually sign someone like a Johan Visser if he comes through the door. Penalties wise from this team, I'd say Anthony Gordon takes them at the minute. He's had to come all the time last season. And corner wise, I think Guimaraes is on quite a few of them. Free kick wise, I think Elanga takes the odd one with Harvey Barnes taking a few. The star man for me in this team, there's a few that spring to mind. Of course, Anthony Gordon's a big name, but for me, the star man is Bruno Guimaraes. There's a reason why so many teams were after him last season. Don't like playing against him personally, but that's what makes him great. He's got that nasty side, he's got that tenacity in midfield. It's why the Newcastle fans love him so much. But there's a lot of if, buts, and maybes with this Newcastle team in a minute, and I think it might be worthwhile to stay away for the time being at least. With just a few teams left on this list, we now find ourselves in the red half of the Midlands. Nottingham Forest, a formidable back four and goalkeeper last campaign, and if pre-season's anything to go by, once again, 5 clean sheets out of 7 games, only 1 goal scored in 7 fixtures is abysmal. and that was in a 3-1 defeat to Fulham. The back four and the goalkeeper speak for themselves. They've been linked with Leif Davis of Ipswich, so that's one to monitor. Sells in goal, Aina, Milenkovic, Murillo, and Williams. I think with the Europa League campaign coming up, a lot of these assets will be very much on the cards. Midfield four, well, midfield five technically. I've gone for Gibbs White in the number 10 role. Elliot Anderson, fantastic talent in the midfield with Sangari. Your two players out wide, Hudson-Odoi, and I've gone for Indoy. Difficult, I know. Indoy or Igor Jesus, it could be either one of them. They've both been brought in this summer transfer window, and I feel like that midfield three is definitely the midfield three of choice. Elliot Anderson and Gibbs White absolutely nailed on. Sangari, maybe they could pick somebody else up who's slightly better, technically wise than him. And of course, Chris Wood up front, but he might not even be as nailed as we first thought. Igor Jesus could be taking that role going forward. Would it surprise me if his minutes were reduced? Not at all. Starman, of course, Gibbs White. Didn't end up going Tottenham, signed a new contract. Definitely wanted to sign that new contract. Wasn't told any otherwise. But as a whole, you're looking at Forest, you're looking at clean sheets. Penalty wise, Chris Wood when he's on the pitch. Corners, Gibbs White. Free kicks, Gibbs White. I feel like they might be slow burners at the start, but they'll keep it tight at the back, clean sheet wise. The final promoted side in today's video is Sunderland, and I think they are potentially the one that offer the best value for money going forward, and potentially the best value for points as well. Back four and goalkeeper wise, I've gone for their brand new signing, Royfs. Hume at right back, Ballard, Ronaldo at centre half with their new signing, Masuaku at left back. I feel like that could be their back four going forward. I've gone for Granit Xhaka, Siddiqui and Diarra in midfield. No room for Lafi. So that's one to note for you people of the FPL variety. And the front three of Mayenda, Adingra and Talbi. Hadn't heard of him before. Snuck onto my radar recently. Scored a goal in their pre-season game. If you're looking for a cheaper asset, this Sunderland team really is the one to look out for out of the promoted sides at least. Adingra, we know the attacking talent that he had at Brighton, never got the minutes, always showed on the pitch what he had to offer. Will they keep clean sheets? I'm not too sure. It's not the trickiest of starts. They've got West Ham, I think they've got Burnley in their opening two, with potentially a Carabao Cup second round game as well. In this team, Adingra is the star man. The penalty taker last year was 09, who is nursing a knock currently, and Roberts, who is long since departed. Lafi was on free kicks, so I'd assume Granit Xhaka takes that mould now. Hit the bar with one the other day, it was an absolute cruncher. And penalty-wise, will your attackers take it? Will Granit Xhaka step up and take it? There's a lot of unknowns still. But value for money, you can't ask for too much from a promoted side. The last of the big hitters, European-wise, is Tottenham on today's list. I've gone for Vicario in goal. He seems to have edged out Kinski in that department. Back four, Pedro Porro, Romero, Van der Ven, who is currently the highest owned defender in Sun Dream Team, surprisingly. And I've gone for Jed Spence at left back. It seems like Udogie's injury is going to keep him out of at least the opening few fixtures. So Spence at 3.5 million could be a better route into the defence. I've gone for a midfield three of Saar, Palhinha and Bentancur. So many options in midfield. They've got Archie Gray, they've got Bergvall, just to name a few. They've been heavily linked with Savinho of Manchester City, which would maybe push Kudos, a brand new sign, from a right wing position into a number 10 position. So that's one to look out for. Brennan Johnson playing out of position when you've got players like Odebear and Tell who can play on that left hand side. And Solanke up front, which is another anomaly. He's yet to play much of pre-season. He's not really come back yet. And I feel like Richarlison will start that opening game at home to Burnley. So if you're banking on that one, I'm not sure you'll be able to get it. Kudos, I'd say, is the star player in this team. You could say Pedro Porro from a points value perspective from last season. He offers so much going forward. But for 5 million, I believe it's 5 million price wise anyway. It might even be 5.5 thinking about it. Can you get better value? I think you can. Will he be on set pieces this season with Maddison, of course, picking up a really bad ACL injury? He'll be on corners, he'll be on free kicks. So during that European campaign, he might actually be one of the better assets to own. But I actually think Kudos, if he continues in the same vein that he's been playing in pre-season, will be a fantastic player to own. I feel like bonus points wise, he's going to go through the roof. Will he offer enough attacking wise goals and assists? I'm not too sure. But will he be a player that picks you up between 4 and 8 points a game without really looking like he's done anything? I think that will be the case. Penalty wise, if he's on the pitch, it'd be Dom Solanke, no Son anymore to take him off him. Set piece wise, you've got Kudos, you've got Pedro Porro, lots of options. Tottenham will be a team that we target many times in this campaign. Penultimate team in today's list is West Ham United. Big turnover in the summer, and it seems like an asset who they hoped and hung their hopes on last season. It might actually pull through this one. So in goal, their brand new goalkeeper, Hermanson. I think Areola will get pushed out now. They spent 20 million on the goalkeeper from Leicester. I think he plays. Back three of Kilman, Todibo and Agard with two wing backs. Wan-Bissaka on one side, £4 million, smidge too expensive in my opinion. And Malik Diouf as the left-sided player. Potential to get further forward, more of a winger than a wing back, but he's playing in a wing back role in this system. Offered decent attacking threat in the last pre-season friendly and definitely one to watch out for. Ward-Prowse and Potts in midfield with Paqueta, who is currently on the game for the first time after his court cases got all wrapped up. Jared Bowen playing on the right, but more of a second striker role. And Nicholas Fulkrug up front. Now, they will have to monitor his minutes because of injuries last campaign. He scored a few times in pre-season. Granted, we're tapping, but a goal is a goal. Starman in this team, Jared Bowen. I think penalty-wise, Paqueta might take him. But if the option is there, Bowen will put his name forward. Set piece wise, you'd have to say Ward-Prowse will be on free kicks. We know what he's capable of. Granted, I don't actually think he's scored a free kick since he joined West Ham all them years ago. And he'll be on corners as well. West Ham, Chelsea in the second fixture. I think they've got Sunderland away. Chelsea in the second fixture, Sunderland away in the first fixture. And a Carabao Cup potential double in the second one as well. West Ham, if you can pick the right assets and they play three games in those first 2 game weeks, they'll offer extremely good value for money. And the last team on today's ultimate guard list is Wolverhampton Wanderers. Now, unfortunately, for some reason, the app wasn't working and a lot of these players that are going to be in the team this season wasn't there. So this is FPL Black Wolf. Go check him out on Twitter. Really good graphic. Coming across a few Wolves players was difficult, so it was great information to pick up. Seems like a very good information outlet over there. In goal, Jose Sarr. Back 5, Wolf, Totti, Agbadu, Doherty and Herver as your wing back. 2 in midfield, we've got Andre Gomez and Jay Gomez. And the front 3 of Strand Larson, Lopez and John Arias. I think Arias will play on the right and Lopez on the left. Plenty of unknown with Wolves this season. Of course, Matheus Cunha has gone to Manchester United. He was their star asset. Everything went through him last campaign. Will Wolves pick up a few more signings towards the back end of the transfer window? Perhaps. The team's looking light. Strand Larson will be their main man this season. Arias has the potential to take over that mantle, but I think Strand Larson will take the penalties. You'll have players like Gomez and Andre Gomez on the free kicks and stuff. Wolves, nothing's really jumping out at me. John Arias for 3 million in midfield has the potential to be really good, but we don't know what he's going to be like on the bonus points. We don't know what he's going to be like going forward. But if he can do 70%, 80% of what Cunha did last season for only 3 million value, I think that might be the budget option in this Wolves team. And that completes the ultimate guide. We've run through from Arsenal all the way down to Wolves, 20 teams, 20 set piece takers, 20 starting lineups, and 20 pieces of rundown information for each one. Tell me down below in the comments if any of the slides have made you change your team ahead of the Friday deadline. Any players that were sprung out that you didn't quite have your eye on before. There's definitely a few that have sprung out to me whilst picking up this information going forward. Check in the comments down below and in the description down below for my social medias. We've got X, Instagram, and TikTok with the FPL stuff down there as well. The Sun Dream Team League code, once again, go check it out, go join. Lots of good things going on over there. But once again, that is the end of another video. Do go check out other videos on the channel. There's some good stuff out there. Catch up on all the content, see what sort of stuff you can get inside and just take on with the deadline fast approaching. But thank you once again for watching the video. It's greatly appreciated, and it's just blowing my mind each and every day seeing all of you turn up and watch the content, comment down below, and just stay active on the channel. It'd be greatly appreciated. We are pushing towards 1,000 subscribers, so if you can, before you leave the video, hit that subscribe button for future content. That's it, I'm afraid. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see me in a new video very soon.